another video in our series, and I want to attribute some of the content to the Swift Exploration course book, Apple Swift Exploration course book, and we're going to be building an app. But before I tell us what kind of app we're going to build, I'd like you to first of all create a new Xcode project. So this is what once you open your Xcode, you're going to have welcome to Xcode, and you have your I'm working with version 14.1. You can create a new Xcode project, and then this opens up to you multiple different offerings, multi-platform, Mac OS, Watch OS, and all of that. But we're going to be focusing on iOS, and you want to go click app. You open up your app and you want to name this application something, and for the purposes of this course we are calling it Color Mix. And the name of your organization, you can throw in something here. The interface, make sure it's assigned to Storyboard, and then the language of course is Swift. I am saving to my desktop. You can save wherever in whatever location works for you. So that's been created, but then the app that we're trying to create, what it really does is it generates different colors, by mixing three main colors: red, green, and blue. So this is going to be one of the videos towards building this specific app. So what I want you to do right now is to come click your main. So you have your screen, all of this open, and you can move this around by just clicking on this, and that's what we have. So the first thing you're going to do is to go to your object library, because we want to be able to place a rectangular box somewhere around here. So you go to this, and then one way you can do, we want to be able to create what's the rectangular angle, or more of like a view. That's what we want to create. So you can just scroll down to view, which is V. Where do we have our view? Have I scrolled past? That's view right here. So you can literally do that, or you just come here and you type your view, or better way to look for it is UI view, and then that's how you have your view. So you move it, and then you can see the blue line that helps you actually center it at the top there, and then that's what you have. So once you have this, the next thing, so depending on what settings you have on your system, you might actually drag this. Remember that what you just dragged here is filled in white and the outline is in blue. Chances are that you would have dragged in something here and you didn't see anything around, some kind of guidelines around it. So if that's the case with you, I like you to just do one of two things. You can either come here, click on editor, scroll down to canvas, and come in here and click bounce rectangle. For purposes of clarity, let me just uncheck bounce rectangle so that you can see what it might possibly look like for you. Now if you want to make sure those lines come out so that you can see what you're doing, you go to canvas, scroll down to bounce rectangles, and boom, those lines come back. The other way you can actually do it is by coming to this point, and clicking so I think that's probably it. This doesn't do it. Let me see. Oh, I think that's the only way you can snap to guides. No, this does a little bit something else. So that's probably your best way of doing it. You click canvas and then you move to bounce rectangle, and you'll be fine, and you see that. So the next thing we want to do is to be able to open up. So we have the user interface. You want to be open up the area where you're going to do your code. So you can always come here again, look at this adjust editor options, and you can come click your assistant here. Or another way of trying to find out, you know, your code area will be to go to the editor tool, scroll down to assistant. This is assistant here, click assistant, and all of a sudden you have this. So I just kind of zoomed in so that you can see the screen better. So the next thing you want to do is to establish a connection. Now you have your outlet. You want to be able to establish some kind of connection between, you know, your user interface and the code, and that's where you can go click Control on your keyboard, hold on to the rectangle, and then, so just a minute, draw a line, boom, to somewhere under the class view controller. And then you want to give it a name, because right now it's asking a name for the outlet that you're creating. So we're going to say something like color view, color view R, color view, and that's what we have. Boom. So notice what has happened, right? A line has been created. And how you know that the connection has been established between the object here, which is the rectangular object, and the outlet, which is a depiction of the same object, right, within your code. How you know that that has been established is by this concentric circle you see here. You see the concentric circle. So it's some kind of black, the black circle with a ring inside it. So this actually indicates that the outlet has made a connection with the UI component that you see here. That's what all of this is about. So this is your variable name, which is your color view, and this is the object UI view. So what else do we have here? We also have, for example, the view, the view did load. You see the view did load, and it's a function. It's a specific function, right? It's a function that is called when your UI view controller is ready to appear on the screen, and that's where you make adjustments to the object. That's the next thing you see here. The other thing you see here is let me see, where is your view? I've talked about your color view, which is literally a declaration of the property, and the UI view is literally some kind of type. It's a basic view type. So most of the things you're going to find that appear on the screen will be some form of UI view. And then you see the exclamation mark here. The exclamation mark literally says if the outlet isn't connected, like we see it connected here, the app would crash if you try to run it. That's what, so it's like a hard stop that's created for you there. But the other thing to pay attention to is you're going to see when you build these apps, there are two things you're going to notice, two things that are going to be happening. First of all, you're going to be creating outlets, and this is an example of an outlet we have created, IB outlet. You're also going to have, in some cases, at IB action. So you have IB outlet and IB action. What's the difference? Your IB outlet literally refers to the object, like we see here. That's us referring to the object, right? So it's more like an interface builder object, right? And it's a variable which is literally a reference to the UI components that you're creating here. And as you create more components here, you begin to see IB outlets, different IB outlets, right? So for this IB outlets is the color view. You could have buttons and all kinds of other things that are going to be happening. So but when you have something like IB action, right? What's this IB action about, right? IB action literally is a variable that is a reference. It is more or less, you're going to see it more or less as a function which is called whenever a specific user interaction occurs. So if I if I click, if assume this was a button, once I click it, right, this is what is triggered, the IB action. So it's a function which is called whenever that specific user interaction occurs, and then it does. So it's more like a method. This is the outlet is the object, and then IB action is the method that executes and does what needs to be done to the object. So you're going to keep seeing a lot of this as we proceed with the course. So that's where we would I would end this. I would continue with the video subsequently. We have gotten to this point. I'm gonna continue the video the next time. Thank you for watching.